Welcome back, everybody, to another look at one of my favorite scenes from a historical film. And today, this is one I've talked about many times before in streams and things of that nature, talking about what a great scene it is. And many of you have requested that I react to this one. So this is the sinking of the Blücher from The King's Choice, which is a 2016 foreign language film, at least foreign language to those of us here in the United States, that most people haven't seen, but it's really, really good. And just a little bit of background, telling you what's going on before we watch this scene. It's such an intense scene and so well done, and I just love the way they put the whole thing together. So this is the beginning of the war on the Western Front in World War II. It's April of 1940. France and the United Kingdom have been at war with Germany, but it's what is known as the phony war because they're not actually really engaging in war, but that's about to change. The war on the Western Front's about to begin because the Germans have made the decision to invade Norway. Now, there's been a lot of diplomatic stuff going on, and the movie covers some of that, the movie The King's Choice. The King's Choice is what it says it is. It's about the King of Norway making his decision that Norway is a sovereign nation, and they're not going to allow troops to come in. In this case, the Germans wanted to put German troops in Norway to defend against what they saw coming, which was the arrival of British troops in Norway. Everybody was kind of converging on Norway, and there was kind of this fight about who was going to get there first, and Norway's like, we're a sovereign nation, stay out. Well, the Germans make the decision to land troops. And what we see in this scene is the defender of this fortress. And I believe these guns are still there to this day. It's the middle of the night. It's something like 4 in the morning, I think it is. He's been receiving reports that German ships are entering a fjord, a narrow body of water. He's been given no orders from higher command that he's allowed to engage or fire, so he makes the decision himself that these are hostile forces and we're going to engage. In this case, they're going to engage the German Admiral Hipper class heavy cruiser, the Blücher. And so what you end up having is a guy taking this decision on his own. And we'll talk a little bit more about what was said, what happened, and the aftermath. But let's go ahead and watch this scene because it's really intense and it's really well done. Name of this fortress is Oscarsburg, I believe. The cinematography and the sound here is just amazing. I'll let you watch and enjoy it.
Sø dem! Avstand! Sø dem!
Koreograf melder 1800 meter, oberst.
Det er alt for mye. De passerer jo nettopp småskjær.
Vi avventer bekreftelse fra Koppås.
Nei, vi har ikke tid. Sett 1200 meter!
Avstand 1200 meter!
1200 meter og synkende!
Skyter vi varsel, oberst?
Ingen varsel, ingen nøling. Dette er fiender.
1200 meter! Men oberst, hva om vi tar feil?
Kanon 1 i posisjon!
På min kommando! Ild!
Kanoner! Ild!
Ild!
Kanon 2! Ild!
Torpedoene til dem!
Torpedobatteri! Fort!
That scene is so well done. It's so well done, and there's just so much I like about it. But let's just talk for a minute about the aftermath of what happened there. First of all, there's this great quote that I wish they would have included. I think something to the effect of this colonel that was in command. He said, either I'll be decorated or I'll be court-martialed. Now, fire. Like, this is the kind of leadership you need in a situation like this. Decisive leadership where everybody else around you is questioning, should we do this? Should we hesitate? Hesitation gets you killed in a situation like this. And his decisive leadership helped sink the Blücher. Now, the estimates I've read for Blücher show anywhere from 300 to 1,000 were lost on the Blücher, because they had not only the sailors who were members of the crew of this ship, they also had landing crew, part of the landing party, the troops that were supposed to be put on shore, and many of them were killed as well. So it's not really clear how many died in this fight. But what is clear is that Blücher was sunk. It remains there to this day, and it's actually considered a war grave now, like many of these sinkings, so that it will be protected from looters and things of that nature. But I love everything about this scene. I believe this man lived into the late 1950s. In fact, let's take a look and read a little bit more about him. Okay, so this is from World War II Today, the website. It says, from a range of approximately 1,800 meters, the two 11-inch shells from the Krupp's guns that were capable of firing caused massive damage to the Blücher, and you can see the Blücher here. The first round entered a magazine, causing explosions and setting the Blücher on fire. The second shell disabled the electrical supply used by the gun. So these were nice shots. And these guns are bigger than anything Blücher had. I think Blücher's largest guns were 8-inch. The fortress of Oscarsburg was largely manned by reservists and recruits who had been called up within the last week. That's why you see that scene so masterfully done where, like, the one guy's throwing up and they're nervous and they're questioning, but you've got this veteran commander. They were not yet trained up to reload during the time it took for Blücher to pass them. So here's the guy, Colonel Eriksson, a bad dude, man, and I mean that as a compliment. The German task group with the shortest distance to travel was led by the heavy cruiser Blücher, up the Oslo Ford to the Norwegian capital, Oslo. The Oscarsburg fortress lay on an island in the middle of the fjord and proved to be a deadly obstacle. In fact, I'll show you some pictures. There's Oscarsburg there. This is what the fortress looks like, and it's there to this day. Great location for defending, and you can see the guns. These are the guns that you see in that shot, and boy, I'd love to visit a place like that. That looks really cool to visit. The commander of the fortress was uncertain whether the ships he faced were English or German. So that's a good point, because both were rumored to be coming. Germany was relying on surprise and subterfuge to gain an early advantage and had not declared war. Norway was still neutral, so it was not clear whether the shore battery could open fire with the standing rules of engagement. 64-year-old Eriksson decided he could open fire because the ships had passed another fortress further down the fjord, which had fired warning shots. And he said, I will either be decorated or I will be court-martialed. Fire. I love it. They fired a couple torpedoes into him as well. It says the remaining ships in the task group were forced to land their troops 50 miles away from their objective. That interruption to the German plans gave the Norwegian royal family the opportunity to escape. The capture of Oslo itself was only delayed by a matter of hours. It was taken by airborne troops later that day. So awesome. Such an amazing scene. I have not seen the entire movie. I definitely plan to watch it. Now, I'll tell you guys more about it when I do. But I hope you enjoyed this scene. Check out, and I put a link in the description below to this entire playlist so you can see my other scenes that I've talked about from some of my other favorite films. Don't forget to hit like and check out the movie when you get a chance. Thanks for watching.